Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We will start with quote of the day, which is kindness is a mark of faith, and whoever is not kind has no faith. This is a hadith from Sahih Muslim. My name is Dr. Temia Ayub, and I will be presenting the topic of health economics today under the supervision of Professor Dr. Saira Afzal, Dean, Institute of Public Health, Lahore. So these are the learning objectives of today's presentation. We will start with defining health economics and its role in health policy and planning, key microeconomic and macroeconomic concepts relevant to health systems, differentiate between major economic evaluation methods, apply principles of resource allocation, priority setting, and health financing, and critically appraise health economic evidence and apply it to policy and decision making. This is the outline of today's presentation. So, what is health economics? Health economics is the branch of economics that studies how limited resources are allocated to promote, maintain, and restore health, and how health services are produced, distributed, and consumed in order to maximize health outcomes, efficiency, and equity. So, there are key elements embedded in this definition. For example, scarcity of resources, whether it's money, workforce, or infrastructures. The demand is always higher than the resource. So, there is always relative scarcity of resources from wherever in the world you are present. Choice and opportunity cost, I will explain them in the next slide. Efficiency, getting maximum health gain from available resources. Then equity, fair distribution of health and healthcare, and decision making at individual, institutional, and policy levels. So, why health economic matters? Health is both a consumption good and an investment good. Scarce resources, there is need for efficient allocation because the resources are scarce. Influences priority setting, benefit package design plan, and financing decision. Underpins decision about new technologies, vaccination programs, and public health interventions. Key terms and concepts, again, there are a few which should be explained. Opportunity cost, value of the next best alternative foregone. For example, if we are not choosing something and instead we are choosing choice A instead of B, so choice B is the opportunity cost because we are letting go of it and choosing A in alternate. Marginal analysis, decision making at the margin, incremental cost or benefit. Cost effectiveness, costs per health outcome. For example, cost per daily aborted, cost, and then the concept of cost utility uses as a utility based outcome. For example, cost per day, quali, willingness to pay, monetary valuation of the health care. For example, how much an organization, how much or the government, or how much is an individual willing to pay, or it can pay up to that capacity for a particular good. Externalities, benefit cost to others. For example, in cases of herd immunity, market failure, information asymmetry, externalities, or public goods. Okay, so now we come to the concept of microeconomics. Microeconomics is the branch of economics that studies the behavior and decision making of individual economic units, such as consumers, household, firms, and healthcare providers, and how they allocate limited resources. In health context, microeconomics examine how patients demand healthcare, how providers supply services, and how prices, incentives, and influence behavior, and how individual healthcare markets function. And if we are applying microeconomics to the health concept, then demand for health and healthcare in cases of determinants, for example, income, price, insurance preferences. From the supply side, provider behavior, supplier induced demand, payment methods, for example, fee for service, capitation, salaries, etc. Market structures, public versus private provision and mixed markets, role of incentives and behavioral economics in provider and patient decision. For example, how provider payment method affects antibiotic prescribing. Then we come to macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is the branch of economics that studies the performance and behavior at the economy as a whole, including national income, economic growth, employment, inflation, and public sector spending. In health context, macroeconomic focuses on how health affects economic growth, how much a country spends on health, fiscal space for health, and the impact of health shocks, for example, pandemics on the national economy. For example, WHO recommends that every country should spend at least 5% of their GDP on health. And currently, Pakistan is spending less than 1% on health. So, if we are comparing this and we are looking at how much a country is spending of its GDP on health and looking at this level of calculation, then it comes under macroeconomics. Macroeconomic links health and development. Health as productive capital, because it has effect on labor productivity and overall ultimately on GDP. Long run effects: early life health, education, and human capital formation. Fiscal space for health, there is that, like for example, taxation, debt, external financing. And shock resilience: how strong is a health system or a country which can go through a crisis like pandemic and its impacts. For example, economic returns to vaccination program. So when we are looking at how much economic gain is a country can get by better vaccination coverage and vaccination program, then it comes under macroeconomics. So this is a small comparison between microeconomics and macroeconomics. In microeconomics, the focus is on individual and firms, whereas in macro, it is on the whole economy. Micro deals with small scale level provider payment incentives, for example, and how do providers or patients behave. In cases of macroeconomic, it is at a very large scale. For example, health spending as GDP, as I explained, and how does health affect growth? So, economic evaluation. So, the purpose of economic evaluation is to compare cost and outcome of alternatives to inform resource allocation. There are four main types. For example, cost effective analysis, cost utility analysis, cost benefit analysis, cost minimization analysis. First of all, we have cost effective analysis. It compares the cost and health outcome of different intervention where outcomes are measured in natural units such as cases prevented, saved, or deaths averted. The simple idea is which option gives more health for the same money. For example, comparing two tuberculosis treatment regimen based on cost per TB case cured. Then we have cost utility analysis, a type of analysis where outcomes are adjusted for quality of life, usually measured in QALYs or sometimes in DALYs. The simple idea behind is which options gives better quality and length of life for the same cost. For example, comparing dialysis and kidney transplantation based on cost per QALY gained. Then we have cost benefit analysis. Compares cost and benefits by converting both into monetary terms, allowing direct comparison of health programs with non-health programs. The simple idea behind is do the financial benefit exceeds the cost? For example, evaluating a vaccination program by comparing program cost with the monetary value of healthcare savings and productivity gains. So both things are to be compared in cases of in this case with money. The health gain is also compared in money, and the amount spent is also, of course, in money. Cost minimization analysis compares the cost of interventions that have already been proven to have equal outcomes and selects the least costly options. The simple idea is if the results are same, which option is the cheapest? For example, choosing between branded and generic antibiotics when both are equally effective based on which costs less. So this is a quick diagram, which is a figure which is explaining the four types of economic evaluation. So it starts with cost effective analysis. The money is compared with the health outcome. Then we have cost utility analysis, in which the how much the quality of life is improved, quality adjusted life years. And then we have cost benefit analysis, in which it is cost versus monetary benefit. So as you can see in they have compared both in the money form. And cost minimization analysis, like we have two drugs, and which one is costing less, simple that. These are the steps in conducting an economic evaluation. First of all, define question and comparators. Choose perspective, societal, health system, or pairs. Identify measures and value cost. Identify measure and value outcomes. Then discounting and time horizon. And incremental analysis, which is also known as ICER. This is coming in next slide also. Uh, then sensitivity or uncertainty analysis, and present results and policy interpretation. So this is a very short summary of steps which are conducted in economic evaluation. So measuring costs, categories and methods: direct medical cost, drugs, visits, hospital stays, and then we have direct non-medical cost, transport, caregiver time. Then we have indirect cost, productive time loss, premature mortality, and capital cost or overhead allocations. So micro costing is from the bottom up approach, gross costing is top down approach, and ingredients approach. So now we will explain all these types of cost one by one. So first of all, we have intangible cost versus tangible cost. Intangible costs are difficult to measure, related to human suffering and quality of life lost. Types of intangible costs includes pain and suffering, anxiety and psychological distress, loss of dignity, reduced quality of life. And then we have tangible costs, which are measured and valued in monetary terms. For example, direct medical cost, direct non-medical cost, and indirect cost. All these comes into tangible cost, which are relatively easy to measure and monetize. For the first, we have direct medical cost. Direct medical costs are expenses directly related to the provision of healthcare services for the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment or rehabilitation. Examples include medicines and vaccine, laboratory investigation and imaging, outpatient consultation, hospital admissions and bed days, surgical procedures, medical supplies, and consumables. These costs are usually borne by the health system, insurer, or the patient, and are the core costs included in the most economic evaluation. Then we have direct non-medical cost. Direct non-medical costs are out-of-pocket expenses incurred because of illness but not for medical care itself. For example, transportation to health facilities, food and lodging during treatment, informal payment, time and expenses of caregivers or attendants. The key point is these costs are particularly important in low and middle income countries where access barriers are very high. Now we come to indirect costs. Indirect costs represent the loss of economic productivity due to illness, disability, or premature death. For example, lost wages due to illness or hospitalization, reduced work capacity or absenteeism, long term disability, premature mortality leading to loss of future earnings. Measurement approaches toward these type of costing is human capital approach or friction cost approach. And then we have capital cost and overhead allocation. Capital cost, long-lasting assets used in service delivery, for example, buildings, equipment, vehicles, IT systems. Overhead cost, shared costs that support service delivery, for example, administration, utility, maintenance, security. And allocation methods is annuitization of capital cost over useful life, allocation based on service volume, floor space, or staff time. So these costs are also often underestimated or ignored, leading to incomplete costing. This is a figure showing a quick comparison of direct medical costs, which are doctor visits and hospital stays, medication and tests, direct non-medical costs, which includes transportation, caregivers' time, etc., and indirect costs, which is loss of productivity, time of work, premature mortality, etc. So again, this is an figure I took from a research paper in which was about type of cost categories that should be reported in economic evaluation from a societal perspective in hemophilia patients. So the example and the case study was of hemophilia patient, but it was about all the cost categories that should be reported in economic evaluation. And as you can see that it starts with the bottom of cost of hemostatic therapies, then we have direct medical cost, direct formal non-medical cost, then direct informal non-medical cost, and indirect cost, and at the very top of the pyramid are the intangible costs, which are even more difficult to calculate. So this is the whole pyramid is actually the societal cost for the patient of hemophilia. Okay, so now we come to another important concept of how to measure outcomes for DELIs and QALYs. DELIs are disability adjusted life years, years of life lost plus year lived with disability, common in global burden of disease studies. Then we have QALYs, quality adjusted life year, lives weighted by health related quality of life utility. Choice depends on audience. DALY is common for public health global. QALYs used in HTA and clinical decision making. So it is a figure below to explain DALYs, which are disability adjusted life years, which are equal to years lived with disability plus years of life lost. So years left with disability are, as you can see, the person is in the wheelchair and they can live for many years, but the quality of life at that time and their working and their ability is very much hampered. And then years of life lost are what were the expected years and how many years early the person died. Quality adjusted life year, QALY is a measure of disease burden that combines length of life and quality of life in a single number to easily assess the value and cost effectiveness of medical intervention. So this is a graph which is showing this is the time in years of a person's life. This is perfect life, which is 1, and this is a person which is dead, which is at 0. And this is the health related quality of life between 0 to 1. So with intervention, the person's life is increased in years, and without intervention, the person's life is in the red, and the time period is also short, and the quality of life is also short. So this is about the above this area is showing the quality, which is showing us that the length is also increase of the life, and also the quality of life was also better. So quality tries to combine both these things, length of years of life and quality of life, both into one figure. Now we have interpreting ICERs and threshold. So one ICER is ICER stands for incremental cost effective ratio. So this is the formula: cost of the new intervention minus cost of the standard intervention or comparator. Then effectiveness of the new intervention, health benefit of the new intervention minus effectiveness or health benefit of the standard or previous intervention. So thresholds are country specific willingness to pay per quali or per daily. So caution is that fixed rules, for example, GDP per capita multiples are discouraged. Considered opportunity cost and budget impacts. For example, for Pakistan and Punjab, explicit thresholds are not nationally standardized. Recommended context specific decision rules are done for each intervention. But some countries like United Kingdom, they have very much advanced system of this calculation and this health economics. So their calculation are very much, the whole process is very transparent and very advanced. So we will talk about that HTA in the coming slide. And then we have budget impact analysis. Complement CEA estimates affordability and fiscal consequences over short or medium term. Key for ministries are that can the health budget absorb the intervention, and the method is population eligible into uptake into unit cost across the budgeting periods to calculate budget impact analysis. Now we come to another important topic, which is the priority setting frameworks and health technology assessment, which is also known as HTA. Health technology assessment is a systematic evaluation of clinical, economic, ethical, and societal implication Tools include league tables, multiple criteria decision analysis, program budgeting, and marginal analysis. Global 10 is institutionalizing HTA for benefit design and procurement. So this is the HTA, a simple flowchart to show the HTA. New technology comes, and then the decision problem, and there is the context for that problem, and then the data about and the research is done. Analysis is done, scientific judgment assessment, then appraisal of that analysis, and then at the background, there are values about efficacy and safety, economic value, social acceptability, policy relevance, ethical consideration. All these are values which also contribute to the appraisal. And then whether it is going to be recommended to the decision makers, or whether there won't be, what are the recommendations going to be about that new technology. And then finally, all these recommendations are being given to the decision makers from the experts or the HTA members and so on. Equity and distributional concern. Efficiency versus equity trade offs. Distributional cost effective analysis weights health gains for disadvantaged groups. Catastrophic health expenditure and empowerment metrics. And there are policy levers like targeted subsidies, progressive financing, and safety nets. And then there is provider payment and incentive design, common payment mechanism, fee for service, capitation, case based salary, performance based financing, incentive effects, over provision versus under provision, cost containment, and quality impacts. For example, in Pakistan, there is mixed payment system across public, private providers, pilot, PBF, and results. Markets regulation and pharmaceutical economics. Market failures in pharmaceutical is due to, for example, patents, monopoly pricing, information asymmetry. Pricing strategies, generic policies, procurement methods should be open tender and pooled procurement. Role of essential medicines list and formularies. For example, for Pakistan, contest procurement is done at federal or provincial level, and challenges with quality assurance and supply chain are there. For example, if we want to apply the example from a global evidence, HPV vaccination, CE cost effective analysis shows high value in lower middle income countries, herd immunity, and long term cancer prevention. Similarly, for antiretroviral therapy, ART, cost utility analysis, and budget impacts for scale up, and tobacco taxation, powerful public health and fiscal interventions with high return. Lessons are consider cost, affordability, distributional impact, and political economy. So all these decisions which we see, which are being done in healthcare, which can be very simple. For example, taxation on sugar-based drinks. All these um, policies and all these steps are based on evidence about from the economics perspective, and how effective or how useful these policies can be for the health of the country, for the economic benefits of the country in the long run. So these are some of the applied examples. For example, we will continue with the example of expanded program of immunization, cost effectiveness of introducing new vaccine, financing transition from donors, and maternal health intervention, cost per daily awaited for safe delivery packages, then dots for TB, cost effectiveness and integration across provinces, and how which much we will be gaining by applying these interventions. And the data sources for Pakistan we have are DHS, HMIS, provincial program reports, and WHO choice. Punjab specific consideration. Similarly, for Punjab as a province, it has its own priorities. It has its own challenges. So they should be kept in mind while making decisions based on data. And then there are particularly data sources and practical tools. For example, Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, Pakistan Demographic and Health Survey, National Health Accounts, and for provincial, we have Punjab Health Department reports, District HMIS reports, API data, and globally we have WHO Choice, Global Health Expenditure Database, IHME, World Bank, and so on. So, if a community-based maternal nutrition program cost-effective in a Punjab district, so we will define the comparator, current practice versus intervention. Then we will take the perspective, health system plus household perspective, identify costs, training, supplement, staff time, monitoring, and then measure the outcome, reduction in low birth weight, DALYs averted, calculates ICER, and perform sensitivity analysis, and then conduct budget impact analysis for provincial budget. Some of the common pitfalls and limitations include poor or missing costing data, inappropriate perspective or time horizon, over reliance on GDP per capita threshold, ignoring budget impact, publication bias, and mitigation is can be based on local data collection, stakeholder engagement, and transparent reporting. So now we come to the multiple choice part of the presentation. Health economics primarily addresses which of the core problems in public health. A, unlimited demand and unlimited resources. B, scarcity of resources. C, political decision making. D, clinical effectiveness of medical interventions. Or E, ethical dilemmas in medical practice.
A, B,
B, it is scarcity of resources and the need for rational choice. Then we have which statement best describe health as an investment good? Health provides immediate satisfaction and comfort. Health improves quality of life only. Health contributes to increased productivity and economic growth. Health reduces healthcare costs only. Health is a non-measurable social good.
C.
Yes, it is.
C.
Yes, it is. A provincial health department in Punjab must choose between upgrading a tertiary hospital and expanding BHUs. The health benefits foregone, but not by not choosing one option represent marginal cost, average cost, opportunity cost, sunk cost, or intangible cost.
C.
Yes, opportunity cost. Which of the following is most appropriately studied under microeconomics in health? National health expenditure as percentage of GDP, impact of pandemics on economic growth, provider payment incentives affecting antibiotic prescribing, fiscal space for health financing, or government budget allocation to health.
C.
Yes, it is only the provider or the user perspective, which is microeconomics. In Pakistan, high out of pocket payments for healthcare are mainly a concern because they increase efficiency of health services, reduce the role of government, improve provider accountability, lead to catastrophic health expenditure and impoverishment, or promote competition along providers.
Delta.
Yes,
B.
yes, it is delta. Two TB treatment regimens have different costs and different cure rates. The provincial TB program wants to identify which regimens provides more cure per unit cost, which economic evaluation method is appropriate. Cost minimization analysis, cost benefit analysis, cost utility analysis, cost effective analysis, or budget impact analysis.
Delta. C.
Yes, yes, it is
D.
delta. Delta cost effective analysis. Which outcome measure is most commonly used in public health and global health economic evaluation? Life expectancy, quality adjusted life years, disability adjusted life years, mortality rate, or incidence rate?
Charlie.
Yes, it is Delhi's. Yes, Charlie. A new maternal nutrition program in a Punjab district is found to be cost effective but requires a large initial budget. The Ministry of Health wants to assess whether the program is affordable within the current budget. Which analysis should be considered? Cost effective analysis, cost utility analysis, cost minimization analysis, budget impact analysis, or cost benefit analysis. For short term within the current budget analysis, the focus
B.
is on the it is budget impact analysis because we have time and only the current budget is under consideration, so budget impact analysis. Which of the following cost is classified as an indirect cost in health economics? Cost of medicines, cost transportation to a health facility, hospital bed charges, loss of income, due to illness-related absenteeism or diagnostic laboratory test costs.
Delta.
And yes, it is loss of income. Then, two hypertensive drugs have been shown through clinical trials to have equal effectiveness and safety. The health department must select one for public procurement. Which economic evaluation approach is most appropriate? Cost effective analysis, cost utility analysis, cost benefit analysis, cost minimization analysis, or budget impact analysis?
Delta.
Yeah, it is delta because they both have equal effectiveness and safety, and we just want to see which costs less. So it is delta, cost minimization analysis. This is the answer key for the questions. This is the YouTube link where this video will be uploaded. And thank you very much for listening.